Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Tractor trailer crash. You are looking live at I-40 eastbound in Durham near Highway 54. How to get around this if you are heading out the door.
And two weather makers. The first one is a cold front for today. It'll bring windy conditions and maybe a sprinkle or two, and then will help you plan for a warm Easter weekend.
And a man shot and killed in his car. Police were on this scene in Durham until about 3:30 this morning. What police are telling us about their investigation.
And affordable housing efforts. This is one of the top concerns for Raleigh's council today. The updates we are expecting on how your tax money is being used on these projects. It is 6 o'clock and we're glad you're up with us. We're here to get you ready for this Tuesday morning. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, April 15th sends shockwaves through the system just a little bit, although we get a little reprieve here in North Carolina because of the hurricanes. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. Sunrise on the way, a mild start here.
It's beautiful out there right now. Take a look at this. Sunshine already beginning to show here in downtown Raleigh. This is a look at the flags in front of the legislative building, and you can see they're moving. So already it's breezy ahead of our front. We have a southwest wind this morning at 9 miles per hour. That's continuing to push warm air in. So it's a mild start, mid-60s right now in the triangle. As the cold front comes through this afternoon, the winds will kick up. We'll see gusts 25 to 30 miles per hour. That's the big thing that you'll notice out of this front, but it may also bring us a sprinkle or two. This morning's mild, 66 in Durham, 60 in Goldsboro, and 64 in Southern Pines. Temperatures are running about 15 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday, so it's a big difference. Around lunchtime, a quick sprinkle rolls through, and I'll walk you through that on Futurecast in just a few minutes. Even though it's mild this morning, we're going to keep it in the 60s all the way up until lunchtime, and we'll see highs in the low 70s this afternoon. Ken?
Elizabeth, at 6:01, we're going to get right to that breaking news we've been following since we've been on the air this morning. This crash on I-40 eastbound and Highway 54 in Durham. You can see the huge delays it's causing. Let's take this live look, courtesy of photographer Michael Joyner, so you can see exactly what's going on. This involved a tractor trailer and a second vehicle. That tractor trailer rolled into the median. Right now, they've righted that tractor trailer. At least 2 of 3 lanes are closed, but traffic is getting through on one lane. Those eastbound lanes there, I-40 eastbound in Durham. The westbound lane's not affected whatsoever. Back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, if you're trying to get around this mess on I-40 eastbound, really Highway 54 is an alternate route that'll take you around it, and you can get back on I-40 eastbound this morning. But as we widen out the view elsewhere, all the other major routes are relatively delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car because traffic is constantly changing. 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Around 3:30 this morning, Durham police cleared the scene where a man was found shot and killed in his car. The shooting happened around 9 last night near Cortland Drive and Brighton Road. We're working to learn the man's name and if police have information on the shooter.
Also new this morning, a person is dead after being found shot in a crashed vehicle in Granville County. The crash happened yesterday evening in Butner, and we're working to learn if police have any information on the shooter.
Today, a proposal for you to pay a toll on part of Capitol Boulevard will take a step forward. Raleigh City Council will hear a presentation on a study that looked at that option between 540 and the Franklin County line along the road. This comes after complaints that there aren't enough lanes and too many cars. The construction would take about 6 years. Some drivers say they aren't interested.
I'm not worried about that. I'm kind of a penny pincher. So I avoid everything that costs if I can.
You can find a link to the survey to share your thoughts on the proposal on WRAL.com.
Today, the debate continues over how billions of dollars in tax money will be spent. State Senate Republicans are working on a plan to spend more than $30 billion. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at the state legislative building. The proposed budget goes to committees today where they'll discuss it. Kelsey.
Yes, Jeff, today state lawmakers will take a closer look at that budget. And our NC Capitol team spent a lot of time here at the legislative building yesterday digging through those details. So here's a breakdown of what we know so far. The total budget is $32.6 billion. $700 million of that is going towards Helene recovery. Raises for teachers and state employees are much smaller than what we've seen in recent years. The average teacher raise is 2.3% in the first year, while the average state employee raise is 1.25% in the first year. Law enforcement and correctional officers will receive a $3,000 bonus over 2 years. State Senate leader Phil Berger says the Senate budget will double down on more cuts, ensuring income taxes will drop from 4.25% this year to just under 3% in tax year 2028. Despite the fact analysts warn this could lead to a budget deficit by 2027. Our NC Capitol team will be back here this morning to follow up on what happens. They'll ask state lawmakers what they think should pass in that final budget. So we'll be sure to keep you updated. You can get a full breakdown of this budget proposal on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
The new state budget could also mandate more sports matchups for North Carolina's college teams. State Senate Republicans are working to extract more money from sports games and betting in their budget proposal. Their plan would offer state schools more money for their athletic departments. In exchange, UNC and NC State would play other schools in the UNC system. They would also double the tax rate on sports betting operators from 18 to 36%.
Attorneys for Tufts University student Ramesa Ozturk say her rights were violated when she was arrested by 6 masked immigration officers. Ozturk's first court appearance was yesterday, and after that arrest nearly 3 weeks ago, she was in that court. The Trump administration says she was taken into custody for activities in support of Hamas. Ozturk is a Turkish national in the U.S. on a student visa. She's now at an immigration detention center in Louisiana, and she says she's not being given proper medical care for recurring asthma attacks while in custody.
A second Palestinian student who helped organize rallies on Columbia University's campus is now in custody of immigration officers. Video shows Mohsen Madawi being taken away from Vermont immigration officers in handcuffs. Madawi went to the office for what was supposed to be the final step in his citizenship process. A Vermont judge issued a temporary restraining order preventing his removal from the state. Madawi's detention follows that of fellow rally organizer Mahmoud Khalil last month.
El Salvador's president says he won't return the man mistakenly deported there. President Trump met with the El Salvadoran president yesterday, and when asked about Kilmar Abrego Garcia, both leaders said he would not be returned to the U.S. This comes after the Supreme Court ordered the administration to, quote, facilitate his return. Abrego Garcia has never been charged criminally in the United States or El Salvador. Abrego Garcia was given protective status in 2019 and is married to a U.S. citizen.
Covering Wake County, today Raleigh City Council has a packed schedule of projects and opinion sessions. First, an update on affordable housing initiatives and efforts to address homelessness. Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell says this is her #1 issue for the city. The council will see a draft affordable housing plan and potential new strategy for helping unhoused people. Today's session will also include an update on how the 2020 affordable housing bond is being spent.
Also, Renee, folks can provide opinions on the city's future development and budget plans today. The Raleigh Consolidated Plan lays out how the city will use $4.5 million to serve its communities from 2026 to 2030. Their 2025 budget is also up for consideration, and you can make suggestions for how the city plans to spend your tax dollars.
Raleigh leaders will also consider some rezoning requests today. One particular lot on Creedmoor Road near Crabtree Valley Mall is under consideration. It is currently zoned for up to 4 stories of office buildings, and developers are requesting the city to approve this spot for a 7-story hotel. We'll be sure to bring you the results of any major decisions made by the Raleigh City Council today. Look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening.
A teenager was hurt in a shooting near Biltmore Hills in South Raleigh. This happened yesterday afternoon on Fitzgerald Drive. When officers got to that scene, they found the 19-year-old shot in the knee. He was taken to the hospital. He is expected to be okay, and police are still looking for the shooter.
We now know the name of the victim in a deadly shooting in Fayetteville. 22-year-old Jalen Thornton was shot to death at the College Lakes Recreation Center. Police were called to the scene around 5 p.m. Sunday. They found Thornton dead. So far, no arrests in the case.
Neighbors and nearby businesses want to see safety improvements at the Star Bar nightclub in Raleigh. Police have been called there 93 times over the past year, most recently for shots fired after a concert early Sunday morning. The calls have included reports of shootings, assaults, and vehicle break-ins. In 2020, the ABC Commission pulled the bar's liquor license. It was later reinstated. City Councilor Corey Branch says he hopes the state will step in again.
I don't believe this business should remain with the same activities that are causing unwanted criminal actions, such as someone shooting up a property.
Branch says while the state has a nuisance law, it is challenging to shut down businesses like this.
Shaken San Diego, parts of Southern California, working on cleanup today after an earthquake. The reaction from those who felt the 5.2 magnitude tremor.
And a man is in jail accused of setting the Pennsylvania governor's home on fire. What police are saying about his plan to harm Governor Josh Shapiro.
And our weather maker today is a weak cold front that'll come through. It's going to bring us windy conditions and just a very small chance of some light showers. I'll show you what time you could see those.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, taking a look at what we're expecting for it today. Our weather maker is a cold front that'll come through right around the middle of the day. And that means we could have just a few isolated showers. It's not going to be much, maybe just a quick band that comes through right around lunchtime, sometime between 10 and 2, depending on exactly where you are. The wind is going to be an issue for us today as well. We'll see winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour, especially this afternoon when that front comes through. So just be aware, especially if wind affects your work. It's also going to be cooler. It's a nice warm start this morning. Our temperatures are starting in the 60s, but we'll only climb into the low to mid 70s for this afternoon. Of course, looking ahead to Easter, much, much warmer. I'll show you what changes with our weather pattern to bring us highs in the 80s for Easter weekend. Ken?
6:14, Elizabeth, we're staying on top of this crash on I-40 eastbound in Durham near Highway 54. Let's get right to WRAL's Laura Levine at that scene to set the scene for us and let us know what happened. Laura.
Ken, right now we are standing right off of I-40 West where you can see traffic is moving nice and smoothly. But if you take a look over the median here, this is where the real problem is on I-40 East. If you're heading to the South Point Mall, this is right before Fayetteville Road and the South Point exit. You can see that tractor trailer with a little bit of damage here. It was tilted earlier this morning when this crash happened, and then they were able to get it back sitting upright. But there are several vehicles out here with equipment that's helping with a little bit of cleanup on the interstate, as well as working to get that vehicle on tow. We have EMS out here right now. If we pan the camera a little further down here, you can see we have 2 out of 3 lanes closed. So only 1 lane is open right now on I-40 East traveling towards the South Point Mall. You can see traffic is moving, but at a very slow and steady pace here. Right now, we are working to learn what exactly happened here and how this 18-wheeler got involved in this crash. From our vantage point, we do not see another vehicle involved in this. It is highly likely there could be another one on the other side of this, but from where we're standing, we're only seeing this tractor trailer with significant damage. We're also working to learn more about the condition of the driver of that 18-wheeler this morning. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Time is 6:15 here in the WRAL Live Center. Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood. Continue to monitoring the feeds that we have here in regard to the earthquake that was felt out in California. I just want to show you right here this video. This is showing these elephants that are kind of packed together, and essentially this is called an alert circle, and they get into this formation when they feel there's some kind of threat to the herd. So I thought that was interesting. I've also been kind of combing through, hearing from people who have actually experienced the earthquake and felt the quake. Listen to this person and what they experienced.
What did you see? What swayed?
The floor. Well, it felt like the floor. Nothing was damaged in my home.
Okay, good.
And then I have an earthquake app, so I looked right away. And then I reassured my family who lives far away.
Now, at last check, no injuries were reported and no damage reported, but still something certainly that's a bit startling if you live in that area.
Chris, thank you. Traumatic moments over the weekend for Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and his family after a man broke into their home and started a fire. Michelle McConaughey is here now with what we know about the man charged in this, Cody Balmer.
Renee, this is Cody Balmer here, a man who investigators say was harboring hatred towards Shapiro. He was denied bail yesterday after his first court appearance. He turned himself in on Sunday. Investigators saying he told them if he encountered the governor, he would have beaten him with a hammer. Balmer made a stunning breach of the executive mansion in Harrisburg early Sunday. Police say he scaled a fence to break into the home, smashed right through the ground floor windows, and used Molotov cocktails to start a fire as the governor and his family slept. Over several minutes, he set fire to 2 rooms before leaving. Shapiro, his wife, their 4 children, and 2 dogs, along with some guests, were all safely evacuated as firefighters doused those flames.
If that door wasn't closed, the fire would have spread and would have definitely put the governor at even greater risk.
Again, luckily, nobody was hurt in this. Balmer's ability to break into the governor's residence only to turn himself in hours later exposes potential security gaps and calls into question how a breakdown in protocols occurred. Investigators say they are reviewing security measures at the property to prevent an attack from happening again. Balmer has been charged with attempted criminal homicide, aggravated arson, burglary, terrorism, and other counts. His preliminary hearing is set for April 23rd.
President Donald Trump says he might hold off on tariffs for automakers. He says he hopes to give companies time to adjust their supply chains. This would be the latest tariff exemption after removing a 125% tariff on electronics from China. Last week, President Trump announced for 90 days his broader tariffs against dozens of countries would instead be set at a baseline 10% to give time for negotiations. President Trump announced the 25% auto tariff in March and at the time described them as permanent.
Tomatoes will likely be more expensive this summer as a new tariff takes effect in mid-July. Most tomatoes from Mexico will have a tariff of just over 20%. The U.S. Commerce Department says it is backing out of a plan made during President Trump's first term that ended a tariff dispute. The deal was meant to protect U.S. growers, but the Commerce Department says that has not happened. Mexico accounts for more than 90% of U.S. tomato imports.
Coming up on 20 minutes after 6, temps in the 80s yesterday. We're headed that way again this weekend, but now we're in the in-between part right now. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with some turbulence.
Today's weather maker is a cold front that'll swing through. You may not really notice it. We'll have some clouds that thicken up around the middle of the day, a quick sprinkle. The wind may be the biggest impact we see from this front. It's pretty ahead of that front, though. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all looking pretty this morning. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. You can begin to see some cloud cover this morning, but it's really beautiful out there right now. When the front approaches, say mid-morning, the skies will cloud up. We'll see the potential for a sprinkle around the middle of the day. Winds will begin to gust up to 30 miles per hour this afternoon. And once the front moves through, we are looking at much cooler temperatures, especially during the mornings. Now, overnight last night, this storm actually produced a few severe thunderstorm warnings. The yellow boxes that pop up here in a few places in Virginia are severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not going to see anything like that. It's going to be coming through quickly. Notice back across parts of East Tennessee, there's some rain, a little bit of thunder, but I don't think we'll see that. Watch what happens here with Futurecast. You can see the clouds beginning to thicken up between 8 and 9 a.m. And then there's just this tiny line that comes through, and that's going to be, say, right around lunchtime, early afternoon. It swings on by, and right after that, we start to clear out. So we should see some sunshine by the end of the day before sunset. The wind gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour this afternoon after that front moves through. And then we move on to Easter. It'll be a little bit cool behind the front, but by the time Easter arrives, we get back into this very warm flow coming up from the south, watching for the potential for an isolated shower in the afternoon on Easter Sunday and maybe again on Monday, but it's only a 20% chance, very similar to today. Easter egg hunt Sunday morning, or if you're out for an early Easter sunrise service, temperatures will be in the low 60s early in the morning around sunrise, 7 a.m. temperature 62, and by 11 o'clock around 70. It'll warm up fast, though. Our Easter forecast is 83 degrees. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover on and off. off. We're going to kick off that Easter weekend on Good Friday, 81 degrees, and it stays warm through Easter Monday. Ken?
Elizabeth, it's 6:21. Let's get right to that breaking news we've been following all morning long. This crash on I-40 eastbound in Durham near Highway 54. Here's a live look at that scene. It's a situation that photographer Charles Bradley is giving us a closer look at what we're seeing. It involved a tractor trailer that rolled into the median there on I-40 eastbound near Highway 54 right there in Durham. We're told that at least 2 of 3 lanes are blocked in that particular area, so traffic is hardly getting through this morning, but you can see no traffic is being affected in the westbound lanes. Back here on traffic center, I'll tell you what, if you're getting ready to come to I-40 eastbound and getting to Durham or Raleigh, Highway 54 is your best bet around that mess. We'll keep you updated here in the WRAL Traffic Center, but as we widen out the view, all our other major routes are relatively delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head into the car. Take us with you. 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Ken. A big league gender reveal. Phillies slugger Bryce Harper made quite an announcement with his bat. The teammate who made this moment possible.
And another Hollywood remake, The Bodyguard, will be reimagined more than 23 years after the original came out. The casting rumors going viral. That's ahead in what's trending.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
A fan favorite romance movie is getting a remake.
Also, a Big League Baseball gender reveal. Quite the unique story here. Ken Smith here on What's Trending on our Tuesday.
Jeff and Renee, let's start with Phillies baseball slugger Bryce Harper, spotted hitting with a blue bat at last night's game against the Giants. Well, that bat, a gender reveal announcement for his 4th child. He was gifted the bat just before the game by NC State alum and Phillies shortstop Trey Turner.
So, boy, right?
Yeah.
Blue bat. Okay. All right. Give me one. So I checked the box score. He did get a hit in this game. I don't know if he just used it ceremonially and as his first at bat. You know, Major League Baseball players are a little weird about their lumber. But yeah, so he got a hit in the game. I don't know if it was with that bat.
And announcing the 4th child. That's like the Ken Smith plan.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing I have in common with Bryce Harper. But listen to this, you guys. Whitney Houston, Kevin Costner's 1992 romance The Bodyguard, getting a remake. Sam Wrench is set to direct it. Now, he is the director of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour film. Now, Tyra Banks reacted to the news on Today with Jenna and Friends. She suggested Swift and Idris Elba should play the leading roles.
Okay, now Swifties would love it if Taylor Swift could star in the iconic role. But really, who could play Whitney? And those two, Kevin Costner and Whitney, their chemistry off the charts. And let me just tell you, after watching that movie, I would welcome a bodyguard who looks like Kevin Costner. Yeah, that's the truth.
High school Renee was a little smitten.
High school Renee was a little, was a little smitten. Watch the movie, you know. It's a good, easy movie to watch.
Okay. Thanks, Ken. Toll plan. How about this? Your drive on US 1 could come at a cost. The new proposal that could have you paying a toll on that highway.
Funding boost. A plan to build North Carolina's first standalone children's hospital could get major backing. The proposed investment.
Our next weather maker today is a cold front. The big thing you'll notice out of this is it becomes windy later this afternoon. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour. There could be a few sprinkles. I'll show you what time coming up.